Live, baby. We're in it. I got the man. Big Johnny is back with us after a crazy, I think it was just last weekend, the Florida show.
Yeah, Tampa Pro.
Tampa Pro show.
Tampa Pro, baby.
Absolutely crushing it there.
Yep.
Tim does great shows.
Absolutely.
I've known Tim for decades, though. Tim might be somewhat like a decade for you, but I've known him for decades and decades.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Tim for probably about, I've known since 2015. That's when I started doing his shows.
Okay.
I went from being the regular sponsor one year, just the $1,000 or whatever, all up to title sponsor the next year afterwards for many years on. So it's been a long time since I've been doing that show, and I've done a lot of bodybuilding shows in general, right, around the country. I've done Dennis James down in Arizona. I've done all the Florida shows you could possibly think of. And, the thing about it is like, I like to be at all the events, one, and then ROI obviously afterwards with Brandy and stuff like that. So I've kind of lessened it down to just Tim's like shows. So it's the Type Medical Center Tampa Pro off to Olympia. The weekend I get back, we've got Hurricane Pro, which is another 2 days with Tim. And that's the shows for the year, man. Like, I just knock it out in a couple months span and just continue on with everything else that we do promotion-wise. There's so many different people out there that do so many different things. And we like to hit those different areas, in different spectrums because, we service everybody. So it's not just like a bodybuilder. It's not an athlete. It could be a house mom. It could be somebody that's working outside all day. Just, it's all up in the air who you're going to come across. So we like to hit all different, like I said, spectrums of people in different events.
I think people forget that if the most elite athletes are working with Titan Medical, that should be tenfold for the average person. Well, why would it be better for the average person? Well, for someone that is so serious about this, and I always go back to Stan Efferdin, saying that I know nothing because I haven't changed. It is minute changes, small. When you're already good at something, you're already lean at something, you're already there winning the universe. The changes from that point forward are so small. People may not notice it. Only you notice it.
Right.
But for the average person, changes are dramatic.
Yeah, they are. They definitely
I was just with an actor who was in John Wick 4. It's John Wick 4, right? Yeah, John Wick 4. Shamir Anderson. And he dropped an outrageous amount. When he got the, hey, you're doing this, he dropped an amazing amount. And he looked, wow, amazing. And before, you wouldn't know what he would look like. And then you realize this guy, I'm like, wait a minute, you've had to been on stage before. You had to have done football or something because you are
right.
Shoulders are wider than mine. He's got this little hips and waist.
Wow.
No. And he's posing next to me with that cutoff, that sick 80s cutoff, and he killed it. And so I'm just trying to tell you guys, especially in today's day and age, if you're working with Titan Medical, you could look absolutely different by January 1st.
I mean, 100%. I mean, you see all the stars of Hollywood and some of these transformations that these people make. All these people weren't athletes in their prior lives. Some obviously were, but not a lot of these guys or girls in that sense. And at that point, yes, and then people throw out there, well, they've got all the money in the world, right, to pay for trainers, nutritionists, and all that. You still got to do the work, right? I mean, there could be some different things you can do surgically, but at that point, to get the body, you got to do the work. Now, what are these people doing outside of that? They're going to somebody, and at that point, being able to get some sort of, expedited result because of, what they're using along with their nutrition and their training and all that. So, the tools are there nowadays for anybody to be able to make a transformation. I mean, there's so many different things in the tool belt now to lose weight, gain muscle, recover faster, better immune system. I mean, all these different things. So, it's pretty cool to see some of the transformations of people. And at that point, even patients, like you see their transformations. It's crazy. It's crazy because none of these people, they might have been athletes and might have been obese their whole lives. And losing 100 pounds is like, that is a whole person. Like that is a person. So, we've got people who lose 100 plus pounds as patients. And that's just like something like, it's just dramatic. It's dramatic weight loss. And it's a hell of a story, man. So, do what you need to do. And at that point, it doesn't matter if you were a former athlete or you don't have that discipline yet or anything like that. You can get the discipline and you can get expedited results, be able to use the tools from Type Medical Center. And we'll guide you along the way. We're there to support you, give you the meds, obviously, and monitor you to make sure that you're getting the result that you want to. It does take a little bit of work on your side and effort. But I think that's something that is, that's expected. I think it's just nowadays you can work a little bit smarter and not as hard as you had to be able to do some of these things, right? Like when we talk about weight loss or anything, just other things, there's so many different things we were talking about prior to the live right now that people can use, and they could shut up real quick, real easy, real fast, where before it was more of a longer process for somebody to be able to do without some of these tools. You still got to do the things you need to do, though.
So here's some fun inside information from Hollywood. Some of these 600-pound shows and, my 1,000-pound person, all these kind of wild, I don't know which channel they're on, Discovery or whatever.
Yeah.
Should be on Discovery. Discovering the blue whale. That being said, so they're not getting on GLP-1s because they're worried if they do that, they're going to lose the weight and then they don't have their TV show.
Right.
So that's a great analogy of, I guess, the Greek god Narcissus, who died by looking at his reflection in the water. But the point there is, I've trained people like this, Hollywood celebrities that said, my gimmick is the fat person.
Yeah.
And so stay with me on this, and you guys can clip this point of view of this. And it's going to be, I think, beneficial for you, or maybe be the kick in the ass. So they would rather have fame for a moment and not make it another 5 years in life.
Yeah.
So that's how hungry they are for fame, that fame and money. And I think Jay Cutler said it well. He said he realized when he finally retired that, turn that thing towards the light. So you face the light and you turn away.
Yeah, I am. So it's not coming through like that. Sorry.
Yeah. So for you guys at home, don't do that. Life is, there's so much after your competition years, your 20s and 30s. There's a lot of amazing. I never thought I'd be this like joyful and happy and excited, with Magazine Dreams and all these things and this project that starts in another week. I'm sitting there going, Jeff pulled out some content, some old content. So I was first in the newspapers in 1979. That helps anybody understand how long I've been at this level. 1979, as a 10-year-old, I win this huge race against men. And I'm still here today doing what I do at a level that I love. And again, I'm pretty happy about doing this. But I'd say the last couple of years, Titan has helped me tremendously. So it's, again, coming from somebody that's been doing this as long as I have. But for you people at home, these people that won't take the GLP-1s, that have their TV shows because they're really overweight, shows you that the goal is the ultimate goal. Is the motivation, the passion behind it. If fame is all you want, then do your thing, right? But if anybody out there seriously wants to get in shape, now these fat people are not doing the stuff that will help them. So if you're overweight and you're doing your stuff, and I just talked to some competitors that competed, way to be repetitive. So they were using GLP-1s and said they've never felt better, looked better, and performed better. And that's crazy to think that at no point do they need, they're already at 5%, 4% body fat. and
Right.
still it helped them at their age.
Sure.
So jump into that because they're a whole new world.
It's a whole new world, and I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. Because I mean, this hasn't been the first instance of people using GLP-1s. It's just more and more people are using the GLP-1s, and more people are talking about using the GLP-1s. It was kind of like a secret. I mean, I remember talking to Ben Bukowski about it out here probably about 8 years ago about Ozempic. Like, you know, and so
Love Ben.
you know, and Ben's a smart guy, right? And he looks at the scientific side and the medical side, which is great. So, but I mean, back to the point where, you know, these GLPs, you know, they're not just made for type 2 diabetics now. Like we know, like there's amazing health benefits that come along with the GLPs. And at that point, people don't have to stay on a regular dose of GLPs the whole life, but they could microdose GLPs and be able to utilize it and do like a maintenance type deal. Now, the good thing about GLP is that you're really optimizing the way that your body works, right? Your insulin and all these things. And that's the real trick to this, right? To optimizing the body to make sure it's running the way it really should at the top notch. So at that point, you know, it affects everything else that's going on in the body, from cardiovascular to the kidneys. I mean, everything to a certain extent. There, you know, it's almost too good to be true talking about GLPs, like first the weight loss thing, and now these other things as far as health benefit wise. But it's been pretty cool to see the evolution of these GLPs, and it's not done yet, right? Like it just keeps getting more and more advanced in what they can do health wise for somebody. So this is going back to the tools again. If you have these tools and you want these tools, you have them and you use them. For the people that are overweight, now most of the people that I meet, they're overweight, even if it's a gimmick, they still want to be skinny. They still want to be skinny. They don't think they can do it. That's the thing about it. And then you see some of these like big movie stars that started out real big, and that was their thing. One was Jonah Hill, right? He was really big. He always, you know, played off that and all. And then look at him now; he's skinny. There's a whole bunch of people, or A-list, I don't want to make A-list, but actors in general that have done that. So there's a short list of actors or reality stars that I think want to stay 600 pounds or more. I just think that those people in general they don't want to do anything different to change. And some like the ones that get I guess season 2 and season 3, I guess they're making their money. But I guarantee after those seasons are done, they're going to want to get skinny. And that just is what it is. I mean, there's just so much that goes along with being overweight. And I think now, like last 4 years, okay, that set everything up for these people to be like this. Now it's a whole different thing. It was a presidential war coming back to the schools and the presidential fitness test. This is going to start youngsters to start wanting to be active or start competing at it again, which is really, really great. It's going to set them up because if you remember back in the day when you went to school and you did this, they would be training you for this test all year. You would do like, you know, like your trial mile and do the stretching test and like all this, and they would prepare you for this test. So, you know, it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. And it's you know, the thing about it is it'll create a baseline of where we're at right now. And then we'll see a baseline in 3 to 4 years, and we'll see if kids progress in fitness. And I guarantee it, they will progress in fitness if they're part of this. It was crazy to me when Peter went into like middle school and stuff like that. And he didn't have to have gym, not all years. He didn't have to have gym, right? I'm like, what kind of school is this? Like, it's an elective that he could take. Well, he definitely wants that elective for sure. I mean, gym is it's one of the easiest classes, one of the funnest classes if you're an athlete, because you can do all kinds of sports. I mean, you're tested in the year is how that sport is done or how those sports are done. Like, it's pretty easy, right? And you get to be held accountable by the teacher to be active, or at that point they sit you out and you get an F. So you don't want to come home with an F.
The other thing is, there's enough studies that shows by moving the body, you know, after sitting for a period of time, it helps the brain. Sure. And so I don't get the whole concept of. I remember when they started getting rid of music and PE class in schools, and I was just like,
makes no sense.
No sense, because music, it's the other side of the brain.
Absolutely.
So it's like, why? Again, I get it. I didn't like playing flute, but we were made, and everybody had to do flute.
course.
And now it's, you know, it's a lot real beneficial to those girls playing the slobber blues. But what? Oh yeah, baby. A lot of women make their money. Anyways, I digress. I'm sorry. 10 guys, I guess. That being said, it's something that helped the mind. And it's interesting. And somebody I just talked about, they were talking about get rid of math because the people that like math will find it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. And they said he pulled in something else, and maybe that's not the one to go with. He wanted more history to find out how the world came about, the true way it came about, and through stuff. That way, more people would be like, okay, it's 2025, almost 2026. Everybody's on the same playing field, pretty much, except for the communist countries.
Yep.
Let's start living again. So that's an interesting thing. PE should be there. Music should be there. You guys out there should make your choice and go, it's no more excuses. And like Jeff was just doing right now, and Mona is they're making sure that this next week for me, even, I got everything here as I get ready for this project. Now, again, the reason I say that, you're like, well, you're already in good shape. Okay. But if I can get in better shape, I'm going to do it.
For sure.
Well, you're too old to do that. Why would you do that still? Kid, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. There's wait, what keeps you motivated? I'm breathing.
Right.
And I had that question so much this weekend. How do you just get up and go every day? What do you mean? That's how it works. You do it for a job that you don't like. Why wouldn't you do it for something you do like, your body?
Absolutely.
It's like, where's that mindset? And so I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier, and John was saying earlier, is it's the mindset. What's your ultimate goal? Do you want to be in shape? Johnny already told you there's no excuses whatsoever. And I just saw Christopher Schwarzenegger. Now, Christopher was a little bit heavier than the rest of the family. And I just saw him. And when I saw him, I go, holy shnikes. He just became like the best looking Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He looks incredible. He looks like a walking down red carpet with cameras going off in the gym. That's how good he looks.
Yeah.
And it's just him getting in shape.
Yeah.
And so
that was a major transformation in my eyes.
It's awesome. It's awesome. But again, all those people out there that go, I've tried to lose this 60 pounds. Dude. Talk to Titan Medical.
I'm telling you guys, you know, I hate to say this, but like the GLPs, like, don't matter. It don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, you're going to lose weight. It's crazy how that sounds, but it's true. I've seen people not change diet, not change exercise. The problem is if you do that, right, you use it as a crutch and you lose the weight, then you don't want to take it no more. And at that point, you're going to get a yo-yo effect. The body's not going to be working optimal like it did. Insulin's not going to be working optimal. You're going to get hungry again, and you're going to go right back to it. So the whole point would be to use this as a tool. And when you start a GLP, you're not going to be hungry, or you're going to think that you're hungry, and you're going to get that meal, and you're going to eat 7 bites, and you're going to be like, oh man, I'm stuffed.
Wow. Clip this. Mark my words. Bodybuilders or health and fitness people or people that are dieting extreme will do a GLP-1 after they're done dieting.
Yep.
And they start incorporating carbohydrates again.
Yep.
And that whole rebound effect. It makes sense. If that's how it's helping the carbohydrates, is making you won't have such a rebound effect for these people. Now, I do know right now they're using it to compete and win trophies. Sure. But I think there might become a time where they go, it's more about life instead of the trophy.
I mean,
they can use it afterwards.
I mean, literally, there are people microdosing for the rest of their lives. Once they hit their weight, their goal weight, and where they're at, they're going to microdose for the rest of their lives. And that's how.
Do you have to do it?
No,
you have to stay on it.
No, you don't have to. But what's
testosterone? You do.
Yes.
if you, as soon as you start, you're shutting your own process of the body doing it, and you shut it down. And so this is something for you to do. But the GLP-1 is opposite.
It's up to the effect where your body's not going to work.
If you got control.
If you got control. If you got control and you went into this and everything was fine, like you're not going to need it to go on. It's not going to be needed. But at that point, like, hey, listen, if you start trending and stuff like that, or you can't control what you're eating and you go back to bad habits, I mean, this is going to raise back up, as far as blood sugar, you got blood, glucose is in it, ton of glucose. I mean, bad things are going to happen. So that's when you really got to look at it like, all right, cool. But a lot of people, I'm telling you, like even the bigger companies are signing people up for subscriptions forever. So, we'll see. I can see how a lot of people are going to want to be on this. I mean, because at that point, they don't have to eat as much. They stay lean all the time. They work. They look good. Health is good. Longevity is going to be there. That's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about with this. So just like metformin, it slows down or it gets rid of the glucose in the bloodstream or lowers it down. Less glucose in the bloodstream equals longer extended period of life because of less cellular deterioration that happens. So at that point, like they've got the studies on metformin on how these patients lived longer that were on metformin. GLPs kill metformin. So at that point, you're going to get that effect or probably a better effect. And at that point, it's going to create longevity effect. So if you're looking to live longer, this is another way to do it.
I'll do it.
It's true.
I wanted to give you this interesting statistic, and it came about because of 1979. When I was in the paper there, it had an article in 1979. Get ready for this. You guys listening?
Yeah, I know.
576 T level was considered low. Stay with me. 576 was considered low. 300 today is considered fine. Explain this to me.
It's been
did the numbers change on the chart or something, or is there something? What am I missing on this?
When we started at LabCorp, the top of the reference range for LabCorp, for total testosterone was going to be at 1150, right? So now it's come down. I don't know why. It came down a couple of years ago. I asked LabCorp, like, why did it change? Like, well, I don't know. We just did this. Quest didn't change. It still stayed at that. But before that, it was even higher. I don't know what the effect is of why they think testosterone is normal at those levels when it wasn't before. Like I said, every generation, every 10 years has lower testosterone levels than previous. That's not good. And then they're normalizing it, I guess. And I don't know why they're normalizing it, but that's still not a good range to be at. Like most people between 300 and 500 are still going to have, symptoms of some sort, most likely. So at that point, if they have symptoms and they're starting to feel low testosterone in some ways, and at that point, you got to fix it. So, I don't know why. I mean, this is not something that I've asked about. I don't know how many years since I started. There's nobody that has for you.
Who decides that?
Who decides that?
What is it? Can you Google that? Who decides the numbers on blood work?
I can also say
Who decides the reference range?
Yeah, who sets the reference range?
I did the same thing.
Labs.
The sugar, diabetes?
Yeah, I did the same thing. Like a certain.
What did they change on the diabetes? On the sugar?
They've actually raised the levels to normalize. So before the levels used to be lower. So if you were like at a 5.5, 5.6, you were pre-diabetic. And then, at that point now it's like 5.7 to 6.0, you're pre-diabetic. So this has all been raised. And they say that like if somebody is like a true type 2 diabetic, if they can normalize at 7, then that's good. I'm like, that's not good. That's not good. That is not good. So I mean, they're normalizing this to what the population is, I guess, is an average. That's the only thing I could come up with. As far as anything else, I don't know why. Like, it shouldn't be at those levels. even like your glucose levels, like, you know, like your fasting glucose levels, you know, some people are like, oh, well, 109, 110 is good, but no, the reference range is 99. Like that's what should be, like should be below that if it's truly fasting. If you ate, it's not going to be like that. So I normalizing to the population, and that's the only thing I can get out of it.
All right, hold on for a second, because this is absolutely, it's shocking to me, and I'll give you an alley-oop on this. Not sure how to spell alley-oop, but it's off the individuals at some point on the reference range numbers. And so you're talking about what people were like in the 70s and 80s, very active, riding bikes a lot more, walking places more.
Better food.
So what they do
today.
is,
So listen to this.
so the laboratories themselves define the reference range
Yep.
of populations. And what they do is every so often they'll take a sample group and
Yep.
a minimum of 120 people. They test those people with all similar conditions, analyze them, and then the central 95% of those values are then adopted as the reference range.
Yep. So you got a population that's been having low testosterone and fertility rates at a record rate dropping, and now you take a group of those people and you base it off of that. Tell me how that makes sense. Makes no sense whatsoever.
If this doesn't make sense to you guys, if you haven't flown lately, just go sit at the airport for an hour and then just say, I want my blood work or relative to my lifestyle gauged off 100, 200, 1,000 people that I see at an airport. Absolutely not.
You're in a different.
It's
You're in a different range.
it's a different world. I'm sitting there looking around going, holy sheesh. And I've been flying since the early 80s.
I know.
And I remember back then what it was like and the hot stewardesses and how fun it was to fly. And then you go there now and it's like, we're getting lazier and lazier.
Absolutely.
They're comparing you to people that are out of shape.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
find 120 people that are, because average is out of shape now. Let's just be clear.
Right.
Feel free to clip this, but the average is out of shape.
Yep.
You know,
Average is out of shape.
What is it? 5% could bench 225.
Yep. I got a good one for you guys. I got a good statistic for you guys that I seen today. This is crazy, right? This puts us in a way better category, Mike. Check this out. So men are 4 times more likely to be a millionaire than get a six-pack. Of the U.S. percentage of men with a visible six-pack is only 2.5%. U.S. men that are millionaires, 12%. So it's most likely that you guys out there will be a millionaire before you guys will ever have a six-pack ever in your lives. That is a crazy.
So what is it? What is over 6 foot millionaire with abs?
I don't know. I have to find that out. I'll grok it after.
Come on,
this.
Johnny. I need my stats, baby. Jeffrey,
I
what
got
is
you.
it?
I got you. All right. So I'll find out real quick for you because this is awesome. And this is what I'm talking about for anybody out there. Like you have technology at your fingertips.
They
What's the
can bench
percentage
315 behind the neck
6
press.
foot millionaires?
Johnny?
with a six-pack?
Johnny, benching 225 is 0.75%.
I know.
0.075.
Yep.
0.075.
Wow.
So the reason we're talking about this, everybody that's here, is we're trying to give you an idea of what is out there. That's life. So when you go, hey, I look good for 30. Hey, I look good for 40. I would recommend never saying that. Not in today's world. I would say, let's go out there and be better. Let's go out there and compete against the 20-year-olds if you're 40 years old. That's what my recommendation is to you guys. And again, Titan Medical can help your joints. Go for it. What do you got?
1 in 25,000 men will only have a six-pack over 40. And to calculate combination, profitability, it's like 0.00145% that have those 3 things. That's crazy to think of. I mean, I know guys that are 6 foot millionaires that got six-packs. I don't know a lot of them, but I know a couple of them for sure. Like especially down in Miami. I know a handful down there. So, I mean, man, that's just crazy when you think about that. Like,
Those are
man,
all our friends, though.
yeah.
What a small circle. This is all. Those are all. Do you know? Yeah. Do you know? Yeah. It's like, okay, so it's like-minded people hang out together, and so for you guys at home, and I was talking to. I had one of the Titan crew members come over here. We had about 3 or 4 of them come over today, and I sat down with all of them and went over their blood work.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I was talking to all of them, and I said, "Hey, make a call to Titan Medical."
Yeah.
And they're all. And I'll ask you, is it okay that I sit in with them
Sure.
as a helper on this side?
Yeah,
But they were all like,
providers, they're kind of like, but it doesn't matter. You can be in there for sure.
"Thank you, I appreciate that," because they don't know what questions to ask, and they're just
Sure.
going to be told what to do. And I want to
Yep.
suggest, instead of you gauging them off of the paper you're looking at, here's the individual you're really talking to. He's a go-getter. He works out. She works out. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. And that's actually something that really ticked off a company I worked for a short period of time. And I'm like, the reason you don't want me there is because you're trying to upsell and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that? Remember that? They just flipped on that. I go, hey, relax,
Yeah.
champ. It's like, unless you're trying to upsell them or tell them something. Anyways, I digress again. Sorry. Can't spell digress, but
they just got to sign off on a medical release and stuff like that to show the information about what's going on medically with them as far as that goes.
So it was a tough conversation with these guys, because it was 3 guys and 1 girl, all over 50, all wanting to be the very best they could ever be. And I said, well, that's possible. That's easy enough. You guys are disciplined. You're eating right. And they're all Titan Medical clients.
Yeah.
They all work with Titan Medical. And so we went over simple stuff. Hercules Potion. Let's do that. EAAs. Let's get better sleep. Titan Serenity. These are just basics. Those are all year. But then we went into discussions on, is it time for them to start TRT and get their numbers better? And by the time we finished talking, 2 of them are going to start TRT. One's going to wait, and the other one's going to start Clomid. Is their decision. Now they're going to talk to the providers next and say, hey, this is what I would like to do to help where I'm at right now. And my numbers are low, and so on and so forth. So I thought it was a great get together for the Titan crew. And again, thank you over at Titan Medical, you, the missus, and the whole staff for helping us out like this.
Absolutely. So they won't be taking Clomid, they'll take enclomiphene. Same family, one, but it's a difference. If you take those 2, Mike, like you know right away. Like I've taken both of them. I've taken clomiphene currently, but when I took clomiphene, not enclomiphene, it was bad. Like I got the side effects. Like I had the numbers that populated, got the 800, but like deep, dark, depressive thoughts. As soon as I stopped, I'm calling a couple of days, man. So it was. I've never had anything like that.
Well, see, I'm gonna want Sammy on that, because I want him to have those dark dreams and play the joke on him and have him freaking out. And he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It'd be great to have him come over going, dude, I had this dream and I was killing this. It's easy. That's just me playing a joke on him for a couple months. I would like to know what's going on over at Titan Medical this week. It's Tuesday. What sales do we have?
AOD's going on. So that one came back. So that was a big pop for this week. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people have been waiting for AOD injectable to come back, and it's back. So at that point, that was the big one. So $25 off the therapy. And at that point, like, it's a deal because it has a lot more medication that's going to come with it. And so that's a lot better for the patient, because at that point you can do a higher dose of it. You can do it 2 times a day, possibly. Or you can do it for a longer extended period of time, which is really, really great for the patient. Is Clen better than GLPs? Absolutely not. So we talk about Clen, and at that point, when you talk about this is something that a lot of bodybuilders use in the past and cut up and all these other different things. But this is something that you build a tolerance to, and this is something that could damage the nervous system. So why? Like, this is something that you can only use for a short-term period. And at that point, you might get some good results from it. but what have you done damage-wise to the body? And is it going to be able to really do what you want it to? With the GLP, you know you're going to optimize the body the way it's working. You know you're going to get weight loss. This is the way to go. No damage to the nervous system, works very effectively in the ways that you want it to. You're not going to feel like shaky. If anybody's taking Clenbuterol, then they understand real Clenbuterol, then you understand how you're going to feel. And, I never liked that feeling. I don't think a lot of people would like that feeling. So, they just take it because they know it's going to shred them up and all these different things. So when the coach says, hey, listen, take Clenbuterol, this is what you're going to do, they do it. But now, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is like going to war, okay? And you got one side that brings their sticks, and you got the other side that brings Gatling guns, right? And who's going to mow who down? The guy with the sticks? Well, the sticks used to work because everybody used to have sticks, and that was it. But now it's like, hey, listen, you have these new things that can just obliterate these old things. So you utilize some of these different things, especially if it's going to be healthier for you. It's something term, right? So this is the key.
So then bouncing off of that, I've been hearing people make comparisons to Clenbuterol from something called like 5-amino 1-MQ. Do you know about that, or can you talk about that?
So we offer 5-amino 1-MQ. It comes in capsule form. You take it at least 2 times a day, up to 3 times a day at 50 milligrams usually. And this is something that is benefiting our patients right now. And this is something that you can still take with a GLP, right? With this, there's no stimulant effect with 5-amino 1-MQ. It's not damaging the nervous system like Clenbuterol, right? But what is it doing? This is inhibiting NMT in your body, NMT. So this is something that regulates your fat storage. And by inhibiting this unlocks the fat storage in your body to be able to burn this excess fat that you may have. So this is really where this shines. And like I said, you're not doing anything damaging to the body as far as that goes. And you can use this with different things like GLPs, or if you want to use it with ECAs, you can use it with ECAs too as well. So there's a lot of different components, but 5-amino 1-MQ is definitely up there, and it's working. It's working for a lot of different patients out there. So it's a good one.
So is there a fertility protocol for those on TRT, HCG, Clomid, HMG?
Yes. So this is a So HMG is like it's something like that stimulates follicle stimulating hormone in the body. But at that point, like if you're going to do that, you just take injectable FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. You can we give it for patients for fertility. But here's the point to all this. This is what makes Titan Medical Center different. Some people don't like this, but this is why we are different. The reason we're different is because we're not just going to sell you a bottle of testosterone and that's it. There's a lot of places out there will just do that. They're not going to worry about an estrogen blocker. They're not going to worry about your gonadal support, which is your testicles, right? And we do. Like, we're not just going to service patients and give them one part of the protocol and not the rest of it, because they're going to get negative side effects. If they take testosterone, that's great. You're going to raise your testosterone levels, but what's going to happen after that? Those hormones are going to convert into different hormones, and you're going to get estrogen that's going to rise. That's going to cause water retention, irritability, possible gynecomastia. That's a problem. So you want to make sure that's fit. The next thing is your testicles, your gonadal support. If you take testosterone from an outside source, or you take SARMs, anything like that, what's going to happen is, yes, your testosterone will rise. But when you stop, or even if you stay on, your testicles are going to shrink. The reason your testicles are going to shrink is because your body automatically says, hey, listen, we already got something coming from an outside source. We don't need your testicles to work. So then what happens is your testicles go through atrophy. With atrophy becomes shrinkage of the testicles and then low semen production. Low semen production is what ties to HRT, where people think they're infertile. They're not infertile. They're not making enough sperm. The mobility is not there. It's not enough to hit the target. So the benefit of going with Titan is that we're going to put you on a gonadal support. We're going to put you on either enclomiphene, like we just talked about, or HCG. These things, while you're on testosterone, are going to keep your natural production going. So aesthetically, your testicles are not going to shrink. What else is going to happen is your semen production is not going to go down. So we get people pregnant all the time that have never been able to get pregnant, going on HRT, staying on HRT, and using these other things. The reason you do this is because you want to have as many shots at the target as possible. A lot of primary cares or other physicians say, get off testosterone, go on HCG and clomiphene. What happens is the patient, yes, the fertility may rise as far as semen, but they still don't feel as good, or they don't feel like they used to when they're on testosterone. The happening effect of that is they don't have as many chances because they're not having sexual intercourse as many times as they possibly can. So that's the effect. So if you want to be on fertility, Titan Medical Center automatically has that built into your protocol, so you don't have to worry about that. If you're still worried about it, then we put you on follicle stimulating hormone, and you're almost guaranteed. The reason I know this is because, listen, guys, one, I got my wife pregnant being on HRT. Okay, great, John. That was how many years ago? 16 years ago. The second thing is this. I want to have a second child. So what did I do? First off, I went in, I did a test, and I was like, all right, well, let me do this test and see where it is. My test came back perfect with semen and all that, mobility and all these things. I've been on testosterone for 13 years. So this is something that we've known, and we've done this with I don't know how many patients. So at that point, like, I wouldn't have to worry about it if you're on a protocol with us. At that point, we have something to get you over the finish line.
All right. So is TB500 and BPC 157 as effective as people claim it to be for muscle recovery and joint repair?
So, for recovery, yes, right? For joint repair, listen, repairing, it's going to help. It's going to help a lot of different things. Depending on what you claim you've heard out there, it's not going to fix like broken bones or anything like that. You're going to have to really, like, at that point, do some recovery. But it's a game changer. These two healing peptides are game changers for soft tissue, muscle, tendon, ligament. I don't know how many patients it's helped me, especially for myself. I've used it for so long. It helps me.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, there's a lot of benefits to
Very
these healing peptides for prophylactic or
He's in my room when I come down.
or a problem.
Is it difficult to meet your protein goals while taking a GLP to minimize
Hey,
muscle?
just FYI,
So
got home.
prioritize
So I messaged up
protein when you're on a GLP. The reason you want to prioritize protein when you're on a GLP is because you want the muscle run. Your body's going to get these resources from somewhere.
The one was blocked from my face, so I'm assuming. Yeah,
So
so
at
I
that
don't know.
point, you might not be that hungry through the day, but the times that you eat, you need to prioritize 1 protein and 2 fiber.
I can't.
What about, I heard Retatrutide at the same time combats muscle
All right,
loss.
all right.
Is that something that does?
So Retatrutide is going to be a lot better
I'll
as far as
get
the
that one.
GLPs. It was made specifically to help with
Yeah,
not
I'm
getting muscle loss.
One more week
It
of
will help
crazy
as far as that goes. But
craziness,
if you don't
and
eat,
I
you
get
don't
swamp
eat.
season.
At that point, you're going to lose muscle if you don't eat.
Yes. Yes.
I got a bunch of questions like this too.
I love.
Hey, Mike,
I
is the
know.
TRT clinic
Love you,
available
kid.
in
I'll talk to you in a
California?
bit.
Do I got to get a prescription through a doctor? How would they prescribe me TRT for a young guy who has normal test levels?
So yes, we're available in California or nationwide. Why don't you call or text us? I want to see how old you are first, and what is a normal testosterone level, right? Is it 300? Is it 400? Because that's normal. So we'd like to know that. If it's 700 or 800, you're not going to get testosterone. Okay. It was funny because this last Saturday.
If you're 700 or 800, so the recommendation there, if their free test is at 9.
Yep.
What
I told
was
you,
your?
there's a caveat to this. So there's a medication that will raise free testosterone, but it will lower your total testosterone. That's just, it is what it
Would
is.
T raise the free testosterone?
Yes. Most likely,
Okay.
yes. I've seen some instances where it didn't. That's when you got to throw them on danazol and testosterone. And when you do that, it's game over. Now your total is through the roof. Now your free is through the roof. You were utilizing like crazy, and you see the difference and you feel the difference. So for those guys out there that have a high total but have a low free, what's happening there is your testosterone is getting bound up. Okay. SHBG would be the test to test for that. But if you have a low free testosterone, you can guarantee your SHBG, your sexual hemoglobin binding globulin, is going to be high.
Same question, but you heard John's answer before. Nationwide, you can get
Nationwide.
that done anywhere.
Yep, anywhere. So we can send you for a blood test anywhere nearest to you in your zip code. We can help you with all our services, and it's not done over the phone. It can be, but it's a video conference. I don't want somebody thinking they're going to talk to a provider like this. There are places out there where this is happening, where you're not seeing a provider. They have no idea who they're talking to, and they're just on the phone with you telling you.
Why is that?
Because it's probably not a provider, a medical provider, and it's one of the consultants that's telling the person on the phone what they should get.
You mean kid consultants? Kid, remember I talked to a couple previous.
Patient care coordinators. Like, what is a patient
It
care
sounded like a 19-year-old freshman in college, not knowing how to get his lunch. I was like, holy, why can't I see? Why are you looking at me and I can't see who your face or anything? I was like, that was a weird.
With someone behind him yelling, stick to the script.
Read off the script. Yeah. That's what you do when this happens.
Follow the script.
Yeah. So, that's something that will never happen in type medical center, never has, but there's a lot of places out there that are doing that, and they're doing that because they don't have a provider that you're really talking to. And that's scary. It's crazy, guys, some of the things that happen, but it's happening out there. It's a greed factor, and I wouldn't trust it. So that's why I said we've been doing this for 13 years. Look up any other company that you think is good and see how long they've been in business. And I guarantee you I've doubled or tripled their time. And at that point, like, being in the game long time, man. I mean, you see a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. I see right now that the greed factor is an ultimate high. Everybody and their mama wants to get in this business and is trying to do it. And why? They're not there because they want to help you. They're there because they see the money factor. And at that point, they're coming. So I would really, really look at who you're going to go to if you want your hormones looked at or your health looked at, because, it could be a bad choice. Really, really bad choice. So just make sure you make the right choice.
Great last name though, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Kyle?
Yeah,
your cousin
Kyle
from Cleveland, from Ohio, right? Oh, wow. Does anyone use N-acetylcysteine? I noticed a difference in my health and skin after 3 months. So if you want to get the short layman's term of what N-acetylcysteine is, it's NAC. And NAC you're probably seeing out there in all kinds of supplementation and stuff like that. NAC is a precursor to like glutathione. So, listen, NAC is great, especially injectable wise, right? This is something that they use in the hospitals if you have like alcohol poisoning or acetaminophen poisoning. This brings down liver function, ALT, AST. But what the true better one would be for skin and health-wise is switching to glutathione. You switch to glutathione, you will see 10 times more benefits than if you're taking NAC by itself. And don't take the oral, take the injectable. Don't do the IV, take the injectable that you can take multiple times in a month, in a week.
Clip that one, everybody.
That was a good one.
Yeah, clip that. Post it.
Boom. What else we got here?
Jeffrey's on it. What do we got, Jeffrey?
Mike, I only have Saturday and Sunday to train. Any advice?
Yeah.
Top half one day, bottom half the other.
And work on that schedule, my friend.
There you go.
Just work on the schedule. There's no way you're busier than The Rock or Arnold Schwarzenegger or those Kevin Hart. Yeah. So I can't fathom that you only have 2 days. Like Arnold says, you need 8 hours, sleep faster, get your ass up, get to the gym.
Yeah, dude. No excuses.
I'm not giving I guess that's your point of saying there's the answer. I can't give you that. You know,
Yeah.
I was still working out 6 days a week while going to college, while working, while trying to do everything and playing sports. It's like, nah, you're not that one person that's busier than the rest of 8 billion people.
Right?
I'm not here. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Jeez.
What makes the oral version of NEC not as effective?
So your gastro tract, I mean, it's breaking down as it's going through that. That's the reason why the absorption factor, you're going to get probably 10% being generous. Okay. Like any oral thing you're taking, it's going to break down. So, you see that and you're like, all right, well, I could take 10 times the amount. Maybe I'll get the absorption rate that I need. The other thing along with that is you got fillers and everything along in the oral versions. This is the reason why.
That's kind of a elementary question. I mean, we all know that growing up.
Yeah.
You always hear it. Well, injectable is always better than the oral. It's
and
got to get worked down. It's got to get processed. It's got to go through things. And so,
right.
And they've always talked, the old school, they always talked about, they had to coat those things so much because of the breakdown. It's got to go through here and it's broken down. And so, they're trying to make these huge capsules back in the day. Like in the 80s, these things were huge.
Horse pills.
Yeah.
Horse pills. Yeah, they were horse pills. I mean, some of those things would have to go through the liver and go through twice, which is damaging even more. So, when you talk about oral, like I would try to keep orals down to a minimum. I'm 55.
Here's a great one.
Yeah, I'm 55. My total was 690 last test I had. Doctor said I don't need TRT. I wanted to try it, but not sure if I should. If you're 55 years old and at 690, I would look at your free testosterone too. This is where I would correlate it. If you're having symptoms at that point or you're not feeling as good as you possibly are, that's when we start talking about it. And that's when the provider should start talking about it. This is why you should call Titan Medical Center. We service nationwide. We can definitely help you. The other thing about this is a lot of people, the providers, they want you to take this test in the AM. The reason they want to take this test in the AM is because that's the highest your testosterone levels are going to be that day. If you take that test later on in the afternoon, it's going to be lower. And the whole point of this would be take it in the afternoon because that's when people get tired and get fatigued the most. So at that point, if you're getting like that at the end of the day, then you should test at the end of the day to see where those levels are at. If they're down the bottom of the dumps, then hey, listen, you definitely need some boost because you shouldn't be feeling like that if it's 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, unless your nutrition's off and you're having like a carb crash or sugar crash or something like that, then you're going to get that too as well. But if you're eating right and everything is going well, you should look at it. 690 is pretty good. For a 55-year-old, usually we would see you like 400 or below, right? I seen some guy the other day. He was kind of mad at me, but he came up. He said, "Thank you guys so much." Guy was 50-something years old, came back with 800 testosterone. We denied him testosterone. He was kind of upset about it, but he came up and said, "Thank you. I appreciate it. I did some more reading about it. I'm going to keep it like it is, but I'm going to do these other things that you guys suggested." So I'm like, all right, great.
Jay,
So, Dr. J, kiddo, keep doing your thing, man. I love this. 55, you're still pushing it. You got more time.
Listen, it's not about testosterone either. There's other things that you guys can utilize if your testosterone is good from Titan Medical Center to help you guys.
Yeah, I'd love you to get a hold of John over at Titan Medical. Tell him that you talked to us today, and then tell him your symptoms because that's, I think, one of the big things. Are you feeling like your body's not functioning like it used to? The energy, your mind, sexual performance, any of those kind of things. Let them know.
Yeah. So there's this guy right underneath. I don't know if you see it. His name is the Michigan Fisherman, Jeff. It's kind of follow up to this question.
Yeah, let me pull him up. There he is.
So the Michigan Fisherman said, "I'd love to be 690. My test was at 267. I'm only 42 years old." So this is what I'm saying. This is what a lot of people are going through right now. And even at 267, he would be normal on a LabCorp reference range, and that would be totally fine with a doctor. 264 is the cutoff. It's 264 to 916. So yes, he's on the lower end of normal, but at that point, he's still normal. But I bet he doesn't feel normal.
Yeah. So Michigan Fisherman, just make sure that there's those side effects that are happening. If they're not happening, I know you said you wish you had that 690, but again, it's the individual.
Right.
You know, like my guy Clark, I'll go back to, has 1,000, but he's not using much of it because of his free test. And so there's a huge correlation to that. So I would definitely, though, at 267 just seems like it's hard to believe that you wouldn't be lackadaisical during the day and no energy, you know, a little bit of a stomach on you. So Titan Medical, make the call.
Yep. We can definitely help you out.
Can't be walking around with that stomach.
Oh, man. I want that 267 away.
You got to represent Tom Brady. Come on now.
Absolutely. Is 32 years old too young to think about TRT? Absolutely not. If your levels are low, you're having symptoms. No, it's not. You know, I would say 10 years ago, maybe 30, like at 30 years old, like, you know, maybe you should check, but most likely you're going to be okay. Not today. I see 30-year-olds, 31-year-olds. I see 20-year-olds. I see late 20-year-olds that need testosterone. I mean, it's crazy. It's like an epidemic, guys. It's really that nuts to see how many people are deficient or on the lower end with a lot of symptoms. So, you know, the thing about it is it doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter your gender, get a blood test. Blood test is going to tell you the information that you need. And at that point, you know, if you go to your primary care or endocrinology or urology or whatever it is, and you don't like the answer, or if you just want to bypass that and go to somebody that really, really focuses in on just this, then you should give us a call or text. If you want to go through those hoops first and try, be my guest. But I'll tell you what, most of those lead to no end at all. You don't get any solution whatsoever. You got to go in for a lot more testing. They try a lot of different things. And at that point, most people at that point come to us.
Is 32 too young for TRT? So the first thing I would say is this: you're establishing your age as you've heard that might be too young, or you're thinking this. Nothing to do with age. So if you're 20-year-olds and you're hearing this guy say that, again, it's nothing to do with age. If you're 60, doesn't have to do with age. We just saw a 55-year-old with 700. Stop comparing yourself to the other individuals. It goes off of blood work. It has nothing to do with your age. Nothing to do with your age. If you're eating like shit, you see these kids now in their 20s, and I see this over and over again, this big the avalanche of these 20-year-olds, and all their T levels are at 200. What is wrong with this? This is terrible. Again, it's the parents coddling them and feeding them cake all day and no stress, no movement. So again, doesn't have to do with age, has to do with your blood work, which Titan Medical does. So that's the great thing. You can be anywhere in the United States, and Titan Medical will do your blood work for you. In a sense, they'll send you out, and then you have to get off your ass and go do it. But that answers your question.
You must give somebody that says, am I too old to work out?
Am I too old to work out? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Stop using your brain, because it seems like you did 10 years ago.
Victor Guzman. I love MK677. I feel the pump the entire day and feel it actually working. If Hexarelin is just as good, why doesn't it feel the same? I've tried both. Different. It's a little bit different. You know, the mechanism of how those two work is different. You know, with MK, this is something that one is going to stimulate G-Relin out the yin yang. And at that point, you're going to be eating. You know, that might be why you have more of a pump. Maybe you had more carbs that day. I don't know. Hexarelin is really good. It's very effective. So, I mean, patients that have taken Hexarelin with us, they get all the muscle building without the hunger factor. And that's what they wanted, because they can't control it. So, you know, if one is better for you, then you can stick with the one. You don't have to go with Hexarelin if you don't want to. But I mean, if you're going to go with another GHRH, if you really want to go with one of the best ones, I would go with Testosterone. You know, that's another one that I think that you're going to get a lot of benefit from. Two benefits: raising growth hormone levels, and then, you know, you're going to get everything going along with the IGF-1 going up, and then attacking visceral belly fat at the same point.
Why wouldn't you do that while you're dicing down then? Hexarelin, so that you're curbing the appetite, and you're still keeping that muscle and strength and size, if it's so similar.
Yeah, I would use Hexarelin if it was cutting down too. That's what I'm saying. It's just at that point, like, what works better for you? right? Like some people, they're like, all right, well, CJC, I like it better. I like Hexarelin better. I like Testosterone better. Well, you know, if I have to pick out of the three, I'm picking Testosterone because I know it's going to have way more of a different effect than the other two do. But I mean, the other ones, I mean, like I said, like got patients on both, and one might like the other one better, and that's it. But with MK, it's its own animal, right? Now we have Mastermorelin too, which you're not going to get as much hunger factor, and you're going to be able to reach growth hormone levels with it. So, you know, it's really on the person and the effect. You know, like I said, like some people like GLPs, some people they don't, and they won't use them. So it's really on the person.
Does Hexarelin and Testosterone work the same way?
As far as mechanism wise, yes, except for some of the effects with the visceral. So it works.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So you wouldn't double dose that at all. There'd be no point to that. You're overkilling.
You could take one in the morning, one at night if you're gonna do something like that. You know, I mean,
I got you. Sorry for running over, Johnny.
Oh, listen, please. I got as much time as you guys got, so I'm good. I'm definitely good.
We got one more.
Yeah. Do you offer testing, etc., where I can send the blood work, or do you recommend any specific lab to use to get tested? So we would send you the lab slip with all the tests, and you would go to the lab that we specified, and you would get your blood drawn, and we would have the results for you for 3 to 4 business days. If you've had lab tests done and you have all the lab tests that we need, you could send those lab tests if they're within 60 days. We'll look at those too as well. But it's a lot easier because sometimes people come and they've got like 6 tests out of the ones that we need. At that point, well, listen, we can fill out and do these rest ones. It's a lot easier if you just sign up and get the test. We have the most inexpensive tests in the country. We get them all done. They're all right there. We can look at them, and you guys are fast tracked instead of taking more time.
That's the great thing. You are so fast tracking. You're probably into the meetings and all that a month before anybody else does their stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
For most companies, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, and then to try to get a provider on the lines another 2 or 3 weeks, and it's like you're at a month to 2 months after doing your blood work to finally having a talk and haven't even got your stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I think it's great with Titan Medical. You're probably in 4 weeks. You're from blood work, do it, results on a call, products in hand, rocking and rolling.
Yep. That's how it is.
Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. I'll talk to you later on today.
Definitely do. Check in with me.
For sure. Later, guys.